I am the Doctor, this is my section. Earth is under my protection. Planet of birth is Gallifrey. I've got two hearts, your life is saved. Run into the Master Raw Missy. Come on, Alonzo. Alonzi. I am a Time Lord. No, I'm not rich. 12 bodies a man. Now it's time for a switch. Don't look like that. I'm in great health. You were expecting someone else? Regeneration. Oh, such fun. When I say run, run, run. What's up, my boy? Peace and sanity. Sorry, mustache. Reverse the polarity. Sometimes I'm north, but always a limey, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. Jump in the TARDIS, go for a ride. It's bigger on the inside. Exploring all of time and space. Oh, what's that? Exterminate.
Cyberman, a Daleks, maybe.
Would you like a jelly baby? Time's ticking, we'd best go. A new adventure, Geronimo. I am fantastic, so are you. Best come with me. I'm Doctor Who.
Yeah, get on with it.
Welcome to a brand new episode of D4WH. I am your host. I keep imagining that I'm someone else. I'm Adam O'Sullivan, joined as always by my co-host. It's Sunday, June 27th, and you're completely human. As human as they come, it's Nicchia Shoot.
Oh, yes, I am so human. All the foibles that come with humanity.
The most human I've ever humaned.
I know, and such a pretty human. Such a pretty human.
Yes, David Tennant is.
He is, actually. He's a bit of a useless human, but we'll move on.
Please welcome our guest, Activate the Soldiers. It's improviser Ryan Goodwin.
Hey! I'm a soldier and not a human.
Yes.
You're a scarecrow.
I'm a scarecrow. They're great. I
love them.
They're so camp.
Yeah, they are classic Doctor Who from the old series. I love them.
They're literally in this episode because Russell T Davies was like, chuck a monster in.
Yeah, I still think, I know that I've read reviews have said, they're a bit camp and they're this and that, and they are, but they still scared me when they first started moving, and I'm like, ew.
I think you kind of need the fodder army that fights, Yeah,
you do, because it's quite dark, this episode.
Also, camp, have they watched any of the classic episodes? Because they are, we literally were talking in the car about how they are ridiculous.
Yes. Pink clams that eat your foot but don't move.
No.
A lot of bubble wrap, condoms with stuff in them that were supposed to be the maggots. So, yes. Camp.
Condoms with stuff in it?
In the Green Death, yes, with John Pertwee and Joe Grant was so what's Joe Grant's name again? Katie Manning,
yeah. So basically they would just use whatever was hanging around. And they're like, well, fill that with something and make it look, they had one monster come out that basically looked like a penis. And the director was like, put a fucking cape on it, please.
And the best thing is it was an Australian director. Yes. He said it looks like a penis.
It's entirely possible he was like, bugger me, put a fucking cape on that thing.
You guys have given me ideas about what I might do tonight.
Put a cape on it?
Yeah.
If you like it, then you should have put a cape on it. If you like it, then you should have put a cape on it. Fucking hell.
Well, I guess this answers my question of, is this M or PG rated podcast?
Yes, yeah, very much so.
Cool.
We are explicit.
Yes, we are. I think nothing is out of bounds, actually, considering nipple clamps have been discussed.
We have, yes, yep.
Yeah, no, nothing's off bounds at all. Nothing.
We spent an entire episode, basically half of it, just looking up nipple clamps online and then giggling like school children. Like,
what episode was that? How does that relate to Doctor Who?
I don't know how we ended up talking about.
But they had TARDISes on the end.
Yeah, they had TARDIS. It was Doctor Who related. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't just like random nipple clamps.
I feel like we probably would have looked that up as well.
It was merch. We were looking at merch.
Yeah. Please order your TARDIS nipple clams. You get your nipple clams with one has my face, the other has Nicchia's face.
Oh, God.
And you can make them kiss.
This is what I really want. So I want to be involved in someone else's bed play. Thank you very much.
If I could be the special guest cape face, you could also put
the
in there. That'd be great.
With the faces like Mount Rushmore. Yeah.
Oh,
fantastic.
God. Terrible.
All right, Ryan, as we do with all our new guests, what is your history with Doctor Who?
I think, like lots of your past guests, Simon Baker was my in. I don't really remember.
Tom Baker?
Tom Baker, yes.
Yep.
Simon Baker, isn't Simon Baker the guy from The Mentalist?
Yeah.
I like him too. He'd make a good doctor, by the way, the Australian actor Simon
Yeah.
Baker. But anyway.
Sorry, Tom Baker. But my first ever nightmare was of a Dalek.
Oh,
I think I was
really?
about 6 years old. And
Wow.
my sister and I were playing in London, and I'm still trying to get over that dream. Because it's the first time I ever died in a dream.
Wow.
You got exterminated.
I did.
Wow. And in those days, you could have just gone up a ladder and they couldn't have got you. But we didn't know that then, did we? I love that.
But they could get you. But back in those days, they didn't fly.
In the 80s.
No, they
well,
only flew in the 80s. So we never saw it in Tom Baker's thing. So it used to always, my dad would always go, why don't they just go upstairs? You never get them up there.
Well, that was the classic joke when they were making parodies of Doctor Who at the time. It's like, the Daleks can't go upstairs.
Yeah. So then, of course, they solved that in the 80s, which was good because it made them scarier.
Oh, so they solved that in the 80s?
Yeah. Well, this is how Doctor Who runs. We throw canon in as we go.
So, like with Christopher Eccleston, that Dalek, when it started to rise up, that one Dalek and how much damage it did, it was amazing. Like, I just remember being like, oh, girl.
Yeah. And it was really good because it was the chaos of one Dalek.
Yeah.
That's what I really liked about it. Whereas a lot of times there's just a billion of them and you're like, oh God, you may as well just shoot yourself in the head and get out of here. But
That'd be a real dark episode. Everyone's like, well, fuck this. I'm not dealing with this shit.
I think if I was with the doctor and he went, there's a million Daleks, I go, right, straight out of here. Bit of folio work there for you.
The Foley artist is like, I have to do what? Eat a gun.
Eat a gun, it's good. We've all been there.
And as we all know, in the Foley work, eating a gun is made by just crunching some potato chips.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, yeah. Usually it's like something else completely. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's always something that you're not expecting makes the noise for the folio work. I love that. I love watching them work and sitting there and going, oh, wow, they did it like this or they did like that. And sometimes when you're watching a show and then you hear them pouring liquid, cluck, 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 and it seems to go too long, you go, they made a mistake.
Wow, I've never noticed that before. I'm going to keep an eye out.
The only thing I can say is in this episode, I'm probably going ahead, but when they're outside and the doctor and I forget what her lovely name is.
Martha?
No, the other one.
Joan.
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 There's a bit of ADR work. You can tell because it's like windy and the scene
sure, of
seems a
course.
little bit
Yeah.
like off kilter. I was like, it's ADR because they've got no mics, right?
I didn't notice that one.
Probably the same when they're having a drink at the pub because it was really windy when they were doing that by the looks of it.
Yeah, when the girls were outside.
Yeah.
The
They
two
literally
maids.
have like their breath coming out. Yeah.
That looked cold, didn't it? Yes. I know David Tennant got a really bad flu cold during the filming of this one.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
they said he's never rude, but they said he would just go off and just sit in a corner because he just felt so sick.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I always think you can tell in the second one if you have a look at him.
How long does it take to shoot an episode? Do you guys know, like roughly, like how many days they spend?
Don't know, and it would depend because they'd be doing the inside shooting and then the outside, and I don't know.
They say that it takes they usually are working on the series for about 9 months of the year. So I don't know if that's on like with the actors and everything because I know they were shooting parts of the new series at the end of last year and they're still shooting parts now. But I doubt that the actors are shooting every single day for 9 months.
There's a lot of setting up
crazy.
and there's, a lot of sitting around when you're an actor waiting for it all to be ready. But the classic Who, they would film in a week. So that's why we had some of the worst, the worst special effects. But, I think they did a good job considering they had no budget and they had a week to do it. I love old classic Who.
Yeah, the old stuff where it's like, can I do a second take? We don't have time. Let's go.
That's right.
Move.
That's right. Like the Ark in Space, which she's trying to put that reviver helmet on Sarah's head and it just won't go on, and you're going, oh, for God's sake, why didn't they go back and reshoot that? And it's
Or
like,
the one in Paris where it's like they're literally just walk across the street and we'll secretly film you. They can't stop the traffic or anything. It's just go.
Don't get hit.
Don't get hit.
Oh, funny.
All right. Our episode today is Human Nature, Series 3, Episode 8, directed by Charles Palmer and written by Paul Cornell, based on his novel. Originally aired on the BBC Saturday, May 26th, 2007. We start as we always do with a short synopsis. John Smith has vivid dreams of an impossible man and his wild adventures across time and space. It's 1913 and John Smith is just a simple history teacher at Farringham School for Boys, training them for war and falling in love with the widowed Nurse Redfern. A nice, simple human life, even if his family servant Martha Jones is a bit weird and can't remember to knock before she enters. When a green meteorite lands in a nearby field, everyone starts acting strange. 4 locals terrorize the yearly dance, and for some reason, Martha thinks that John Smith's stories are true, because there's no way that John Smith could really be a traveller through time and space, being hunted by an alien race who will stop at nothing to find him. The Doctor can't be real, can he?
I love the opening of this.
Oh, isn't it
episode.
amazing? It's great.
It makes you, really hooks you from the beginning. I love it. We don't do that enough. You start right in the middle of the action. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Yeah, you get the reminder that the Doctor and Martha, but then he wakes up and he's human, and it's like,
I know. I've read the novel that this was based on, and it's great. Really, a lot more of the story in it, and Sylvester McCoy, and I think it's Benny. Benny is the companion.
Yep.
But it's really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I'm so glad that they made it into a 2-parter, and I'm really glad that they picked Martha to be the companion who holds it all together, because it really is one of the best episodes to showcase her strengths, I think.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the episodes with her are, I love him and blah, 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 and he's being an asshole and blah, blah. So this is a really good, he's still being an asshole, but this is a good one.
He has a reason because he's human.
Yeah. He is the worst human.
Martha's an interesting one, right? Because we had Rose, and you could identify with Rose.
Yeah.
Like, she was everyone's in. But then I thought it was really strange at the time when they put another doctor in there, and you had 2 doctors, and then you got 2 really smart people, and then you're just like, you can't. It's really upsetting because Martha's like intelligent. She's beautiful.
Yep.
And looking back, I absolutely love her. The only thing that annoys me, and there's a bit that John Smith does this with any kind of characters, I find, is when they like victimize themselves, or they're like, woe is me. And I'm like, oh, get over it.
Yeah. Yeah. And they did give her a bit of that. I didn't like that because she was a good character underused, I thought.
The only thing that annoys me is I wish that Martha had more moments where she one-ups the Doctor. Like, the Doctor thinks, oh, it must be something alien, must be something crazy. And she's like, well, actually, he's just having a heart attack. Or, like the Doctor does something fantastical and Martha's like, well, actually, it's something very ordinary,
Yeah,
like
she's a bit swoony with him, a bit, it's a hero worship.
Why did you have to fall in love with a human? And it isn't me. Yeah. And it's like, oh my God, he's still talking about that.
And I think for me, I was over Rose by the time Martha came along. I loved Rose, but I just had enough of this. I love. Bleh. So, she's so great. She's so fabulous. And so I thought, oh, this will be good. And it just kept going. She's so great. She's so fabulous. I'm like, oh.
I really reckon maybe the producers just kept on hammering home, oh, we've got to make it sort of like a love interest or a will they, won't they kind of a thing. Or...
Yeah, and you don't have to. And they showed that when they brought Donna in.
Yeah.
You didn't need the love thing. You don't always have to have it, I don't think. But anyway. I don't mind having it occasionally, but not every companion, for God's sake.
So you weren't in love with the Doctor when you were, growing up?
Not in love.
Okay.
The doctor was the classic doctor.
A friend.
Was, yeah, like your mad uncle that you went on, or your crazy older
And you
brother.
were in love with your mad uncle.
And that you went on adventures. But he was, I remember Tom Baker used to always say, oh, this is Sarah Jane. She's my very best friend. And I wanted to be the doctor's very best friend. I didn't want to be his girlfriend. I wanted to be his very best friend. And then he'd dump them and find someone else and never talk of them again.
This is an opinion about like the recent doctors.
Yeah.
Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant, they had like a bad side. They had a side that you didn't want to mess with them.
Side.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that character trope of the person who's powerful, who look after you, but also quite friendly. But I feel like you don't really get that, you know, and I know you love Matt Smith. I know you love him.
I do.
And he was very funny, but I felt like I missed that side.
He didn't have the dark side.
Yeah.
I think Demon's Run, you saw a little bit of it, but he was to me more of the, I know Tom Baker had a dark side too, but he was more of the, I wanted him to be my very best friend and go traveling with him. He was, I don't know, quirky, fun, funny, eccentric. I love eccentric people. I love them. Yeah. They're great. If I was rich, I'd be eccentric.
I think, everyone would. You know, no one would be rich and just normal. Like, just normal. I just go down to the shops.
Well, no, some are. Some are. But
How many rich people do you guys know? Because I don't really know many.
Yeah.
I was making assumptions. If you're a millionaire and you listen to this, please donate to our Patreon. Please.
Please, at the top level. Top level.
Top level. We will create a top level for whatever you're willing to pay.
Do you get nipple clamps?
I will.
A free
I will
penis
literally
flag?
come around and clamp your nipples for you if that's what you want.
And Adam will send you his undies. So there you go.
Yes, I will. I mean, if anyone wants them. Currently I just wear them until I have giant holes in them and I throw them out.
Yeah, in my bins. I find that weird.
It would be recycling, basically, because I would be able to give them to... Oh, wait, anyway. This is going off a weird tangent. What were we talking about?
We were talking...
Human nature.
Yes, we were. Go.
As we've said, the TV story is based on the Doctor Who novel Human Nature by Paul Cornell, published in 1995. Now, we won't touch too much on the novel and the differences between them, because I think we could probably do an entire episode on just the novel.
I think we could, and I would recommend anybody who can read it. It really is good.
In fact, if I had been more organised, I probably would have read the novel for this episode, but I wasn't.
You suck.
Martha and the Doctor are being attacked. They're being hunted by aliens with a stolen Time Agent's vortex manipulator.
I blame Jack for that.
Yes, Jack's the only one we know of.
and River.
Well, he comes back in 2 episodes' time.
Oh, true.
There's only one thing for it. The Doctor entrusts a watch to Martha's care. Except that it's Monday, November 10th, 1913 in Farringham, England, and the Doctor isn't real. John Smith, however, is a history teacher having real-seeming dreams of wild adventures as he tells his servant, Martha Jones.
Yes, and she doesn't even blink when he's telling that. I mean, I think I'd be going, oh, God, I hope he's not remembering.
And he's touching the watch as well. You're like, oh, God, is he going to open it?
I think this is like another,
I'll take that.
part of their toxic relationship. Like, he could have chose a much better place to put Martha.
Oh, yes.
But he chose a servant.
Well, no, because he says at one point that the TARDIS will sort him out, but it doesn't have enough energy to sort out Martha.
But surely he could have asked for a more enlightened time.
Yeah,
for poor old Martha, who's the only person who's got black skin in that whole bloody area.
Yeah.
Great writing though, putting the person who's actually in charge with the least amount of power and status, beautiful writing. But as a choice, like if the Doctor was making a choice, what an asshole.
Yeah, I know. When we were watching it before, and David, when they make that comment to Martha about with those hands, how can you? David said, "Oh, they don't need to put that in." And I said, "I think it's important to put it in because you need to notice that this is an unenlightened era."
Yeah.
And these boys are just dicks, aren't they? Oh, my God.
Well, I mean,
want to slap every one of them.
Even the nicer people of the time, like Nurse Redfern is like, don't get above your station. And so, of course, the boys who are privileged little white pricks are going to be like, everyone's below them.
Oh, the Doctor, you don't understand. This is a story. Oh, you patronising bastard.
It's a difference of culture and stuff. And I was like, where do they think Martha's from?
Yeah, I know.
She's from London.
What, did she just come from the wilds of Africa for the day?
She's got an English accent.
I don't know. I don't know. It's very frustrating.
Oh, it's interesting. I mean, and in some ways they are kind of bound by the novel, which was set in 1913.
Yeah,
So.
I know, but you're right. What an asshole he is.
Yeah.
He's continually an asshole to Martha, and it's just another example for me.
Just even the pause screen where he just gives her that like charming smile when he's giving her instructions.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you're a dick.
Yeah.
Also, so he's recording that. I'm assuming that Martha is standing right beside him. And he's
where
just
was
looking
she?
dead in the camera. And she's like, I'm right here. And he's like, no, I've got to look like I'm talking directly to you.
Yeah, where was she? What, did she whip off to change or something?
I don't know.
I know it's good that it skipped rules, but it skipped 20 rules.
Yeah.
What were in those 20 rules?
Yeah, that's what I'd like to know. I know there's something about pears. Don't let me eat pears. Doesn't like pears.
Apparently at Farringham School for Boys, the teachers also sleep in their offices.
Yeah, they
That
must.
was weird. Yeah.
Oh,
so they live
I
there.
missed that.
I
How
missed
did
that
I
the
miss
first
that?
time I watched it, and then the second time when I was writing the synopsis, I was like, oh, he literally gets up and is in his office.
Yeah. And then when the guy comes to, the young boy from Love Actually comes to see him, the Love Actually boy,
Yeah.
I can't see his bed. And I'm going, well, what happened? Is it like a Murphy bed? He flips it up and it's gone. But yeah, it looked like they sleep in their offices.
Yeah, well, and they keep referring to nurse, oh, you've got to take her back to the school, and we'll go back to the school. And so all the teachers must live at the school.
So she's living at the school with men and her. I mean, she could be ravaged.
Well,
ruined.
if she's a nurse, then she probably sleeps in one of the beds in the infirmary or something.
Oh,
I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows?
It's funny what you guys pick up on, because I actually picked on the fact that the clock was ticking in the background. So you guys are absorbing the information. I'm going, that's a choice. The editor has sat down and made a choice to put a clock ticking in the background.
I
didn't
didn't even know. No,
was
this is a story that every time I watch it, and I've watched it so many times, it just sucks me in straight away from the get-go.
Yeah, it's great. John Smith's dreams also include Martha as his companion. He picks up the watch we saw in the start and puts it down as it's an utterly unremarkable watch.
Yeah, why isn't there a picture of Martha in his book? Oh, there's Rose. Blah. Rose.
And then he just goes, and then she disappears later on. She gets sent to a different dimension, mate.
Yeah.
She gets sent to a different dimension.
And it's your fault.
He's like, it's just a Rose, just a creation I made, Rose. I mean, you were in love with her, mate.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Yeah. Also, but why doesn't Martha look after the watch? Why is he holding the watch?
Yeah, I don't get that. I would have said, listen, buddy, I'll have the watch, okay?
Yeah.
Because I'm the one in charge. But of course then she's got to they probably think she pilfered it or stole it.
Yeah, probably.
You know, how could
good
she
cover. Good cover.
She couldn't have a watch because, you know what it's like.
After the opening titles, we see John Smith teaching his class and wandering through the school grounds with his head in the clouds. It seems like his history class is really easy to teach if all it involves is just reading from a book.
Yeah. So maybe that's how they taught in those days.
Apparently.
Do you know this is there's a trick in writing, and it's foreshadowing. So he's talking about when the Allies retreat, and I think it refers to the next episode. He's talking about the French and how they retreat and the Allies against So
like
every time they're teaching, if you're ever watching something where someone is teaching something, that will actually refer somehow to the story that they're currently
So they're
telling.
foreshadowing that. I like
It's Chekhov's history lesson.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, well, then they're using machine guns.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine that for your class. All right, it's
Holy
machine
crap.
gun period now.
Look, I finished history and now I'm going to go do machine gunning.
I really do love the fact that out of any of the army creatures that they could face, they've actually trained against scarecrows.
Yes, I know.
So it's like,
Yeah.
I think that's classic.
Mr. Trick having the scarecrows that come and attack them have those buckets on their heads that the ones that they're shooting at have. Yeah.
Ned Kelly
Kelly
scarecrows.
scarecrows.
So
Yeah.
very early Ned Kelly sort of get up. I love the way that there's a commentary on the war and how the glory of war, and that's how you prove yourself as a man and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I find that's an interesting take on sort of what's happening as well, I think, because you find that the Doctor, when he's John Smith, is anti-Doctor in that he's war and getting involved and, permission to beat what's her name? Yeah, permission granted. Off you go.
Yeah.
Not who the Doctor really, really is. He's so foreign, as John Smith, I
But
find.
are teachers really allowed to? I know it was,
In those days, yeah.
Yeah.
punishment where they're like, can I beat this other child?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I know the teachers would do the caning and stuff, but would other kids?
The seniors would, yeah. I don't think that culture changed until probably the 60s, maybe.
Wow.
That a full-on boys' school, I think the bullying is rife.
Yeah.
It's probably better now, but not much better.
I think in primary school back in the 80s, I think I still remember someone maybe getting the cane.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Oh, yeah.
I remember the cane, but like the way because he literally says permission to go and beat this kid, and John Smith's like, okay, and it's like, what? Not he didn't say punish, he didn't say reprimand, he said beat this child.
Yeah,
he is going to kick the shit out of this kid.
It's a different era.
I get that.
And I know, like, in the 80s when I went to a co-ed school, but the boys, the grade 8 boys, the grade 12 boys in winter would make them go and sit for half an hour on the toilet seat to warm it up for them beforehand.
Oh.
That's the 80s. So,
That's gross, though.
Yeah.
That's just gross.
and our boys, when they were grade 12, did the same thing. And that's how the culture is. But I know a friend of mine who was at boarding school, a boys' boarding school in the UK in the 50s. He said that the beatings that the senior boys gave them were horrific.
Jesus.
Senior boys were worse than the teachers. So, yes, wouldn't want to be at a boys' school. Thank you.
I thought it was clever writing, though, when the racist remark was made by the guy. Then Martha goes, "Oh, it's 1913." So you almost had sympathy for the racist boys afterwards.
To a degree, although maybe you go, whew, thank God they're not going to be running the country. They're all
exactly.
gonna be dead.
Because the girl goes, "Oh, they'll be running the country soon." And it's like, "Oh, yeah, privileged white boys are always running the country, aren't they?"
They're all going to die in the war. Too bad.
John Smith runs into Nurse Redfern, and there's an obvious spark. She helps him with his books, and Joan asks him if he'll attend the annual dance.
She's very forward.
Yes, I know.
I
They've only
love
known each
her,
other
though.
for 2 months, yeah.
Yeah, I love her too, but she's very forward.
Yeah, but isn't that great? Like when
Yeah.
you've got someone like Martha who's holding back, you're like, bloody hell, Martha, come on.
Yeah.
And then, you get
Throw the leg over, Martha.
the opposite Martha, like the character that's going to get John Smith and, everything like that. And she's forward and I'm like, oh yeah, go girl.
Yeah, you go, girl.
Well, she's been a widow. She knows what it's all about.
She's had one.
She's
had a husband.
She's
Maybe
done it.
she's there to teach Martha how to be,
Yeah. How to stand up and get your man.
This is how you get your man. Because apparently an adult dance is being advertised in the hallways of a kid's school.
Well, there are teachers.
I thought it was like a school dance, and then you go to the dance later on, it's all adults.
Yep.
It's all adults except for one little girl sitting in the corner looking really sad because we know that she is one of the family, and the kid who sneaks in.
Yeah.
That's it. Everyone else is adults. He has to sneak in, by the way. He is not let in.
Yeah. I wonder how she got in.
Well, she probably sneaked in too.
But with a balloon?
With a balloon.
Yeah, she's always got the goddamn balloon.
That's my
right.
thing, is like, when she has to sneak into the school, it's like, do you maybe want to get rid of the balloon? Because that is the most, people are going to see that. That is literally holding a beacon.
I know. And then when the scarecrows attack her, and I'm thinking, oh, you can't kill a little girl. Oh, yes, you can. Yes, you can.
When he realizes that Joan is basically asking him to the dance, John Smith falls down the stairs in his awkwardness. In the office, the nurse is patching him up, and Martha rushes in to make sure he's okay.
Oh, I love that. Why don't you knock? And she goes up, and she does that
knocks.
sarcastic knock. I love that.
During the checkup, Nurse Redfern confirms that John Smith only has one heart, like a normal human.
Oh. See, when Martha's listening to that and she's looking a bit unnerved, do you think she's unnerved because she's going to find two hearts, or unnerved because she's touching him.
I think it's two things. I think now I've forgotten what the second thing. So I think it's one thing.
Sure.
One thing.
We'll edit that to make sure you think.
Yes, thanks.
I think it's 10 things, no one.
I think it's one thing.
I'm just going to keep doing that throughout this entire podcast.
Good.
It's definitely like, get your hands off my man. That's what I read into it. It's like, it's the first time she's starting to see, because it's the first time the sparks are flying, right? Really?
Oh, true.
Like, and she's seeing it and it's like, I don't know. One, I don't know how to deal with this. And two, get your hands off my man.
Off my man. Yeah. Maybe I thought it was that and a little bit of, God, what if he does have two hearts?
Yeah, I thought it was mainly, oh my God, what if he has two hearts? Because I didn't get the other thing. But basically my thinking is, Martha should know by now that the Doctor isn't interested. He has pretty much said at every single instance,
Oh, he's acted like a dick.
I am not interested in you. Like, I understand she's got a crush on him, but it's like, you should understand now that he is not
But
interested.
he keeps stringing her along.
Yes.
So I just watched the episode beforehand, which you probably reviewed last week. And he gives her the key to the TARDIS and she's just like, and it's like stringing her along.
Yes,
it's
he
like, come on.
is. He's doing the come here, go away. Come here, go away. I hate it when people do that. I hate that.
It's like Martha's the rebound. And it's cute because everyone can see it, and it's just
Except
like,
Martha.
oh.
I know.
John Smith shows Nurse Redfern his journal where he...
Oh, I'm glad it was his journal. I was wondering where this was going. Did you watch the porn version?
Yeah, he whips out his Journal of Impossible Things, his Diary of Impossible Current Conquests. DICK.
Oh, God. You're a child.
He draws images of the creatures he encounters, such as Daleks, Rose, and a magical blue box.
Ood.
Ooh.
There's some
Yeah, Ood. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different
Clockwork
things.
robots.
All of the faces that he has.
A few of his faces, yeah.
He doesn't explain, so I change faces all the time. Let me explain to you why. Basically, when the first guy was sick of it, he pissed off and...
Well, he wasn't sick of it. I think the first guy got sick.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he was literally sick of it. Yeah. Martha chases after Nurse Redfern, who wants to know more about John Smith. He and Martha appeared at the steps of the school 2 months earlier, seeking employment.
Ooh.
In one of the boys' dorms, Tim Latimer is bullied when he guesses correctly that another boy's father has been stationed to Africa. Sometimes Latimer just makes guesses that turn out to be correct.
Yeah, I like that character. I love his character.
Yeah, the kid from Love Actually.
From Love Actually and The Maze Runner. I love his character. You don't know if he's telepathic or he's, what it is, but he's just interesting. And although at times it frustrates me that he runs off with the watch and I just want to slap the shit out of him.
Well, otherwise it'd be one episode and they would just open the watch straight away. Yeah.
But doesn't the watch tell him to keep it hidden,
It does.
until the right time? So really, if he wasn't there, it wouldn't have been the right time and the whole thing would have failed.
So that just means he and the Doctor are shitting me off then because they won't just let Martha out of this misery. But anyway, I'm feeling for the Martha here. But it's a great character.
Yeah.
I mean, all of the characters, they've all got something. There's not minor characters that are just vanilla and you forget about it. Even the guy who's really rude to him, his father got the promotion, comes into it and it has a full circle story. So,
But are they all supposed to be in the same year, the same class? Because
no, I think you have a junior in with you.
Oh, okay.
To clean your boots and, make your bed.
But he's in class with them later on.
Oh.
Yeah, and when they go to war...
He's so little.
I know.
That's
the thing
weird. I thought the same thing, yeah.
They're all seniors. They're all obviously seniors. But he looks like a few years younger than the rest of them, so...
That's interesting. I just assumed he was the junior in their... their lackey.
Yeah, but they're in machine gunner class later on.
Well, I think they would have mixed those up, but... Yeah, I didn't realise that they were in history class together. I didn't notice.
I didn't see in history. Although he does throw his book over and say, "You do my homework." So maybe they have different. Yeah, I don't know.
The bomb though. So does that happen the next year and the next?
Yeah,
because that's both him and his classmate. So
Yeah, but you still could be a couple of years apart and know each other from school.
But then he also, when he says, I've been preparing for this for years. So because initially I thought it was the next year, but then apparently there seems to be a line where he goes, I've been preparing this for years.
Oh, okay, so it might
could
be later
a few
on in
years
the
later
war.
on, I don't know.
16, 17, like...
it does actually give you a time, but I never looked at, like, it gives you the year.
I didn't watch the second part yet.
Yes, yeah.
I saved up for next week. So I don't know. Because he's littler, I assumed he was their lackey, junior lackey, because I know that they had that. My dad
I didn't know they had that. So.
My dad was telling me when he was at grammar, there was one of the younger boys who used to talk to him all the time. And Dad was he didn't take to the, getting them to clean your shoes and blah, blah, blah. So he just did it all himself. But he said years later, the guy said to him, he said, I got out of all of that stuff because every time a senior would say, oh, clean my shoes, I'd go, I'm doing it for Maxie Shoot. And he did nothing for Dad.
Oh, shit.
He got out of it by saying he was doing all this stuff for Dad. I always loved that story.
At the pub, Martha and Jenny, the other female staff, are forced to enjoy their drink outside in the freezing cold.
Is that all women or just the maids?
Yeah, I don't know.
She said something about suffragettes, so I imagined it was all women.
Maybe if you don't have a male companion, because I think at one point John Smith invites her in for a drink.
Oh.
But then immediately, he gets there, invites her in for a drink, and then they have to leave anyway. So.
Oh, yeah, that's because they
I
said,
don't know.
bloody women in here, get out of there.
Because they wouldn't let a man sit outside.
Sit out in the cold.
Maybe it is maids. It's just a job. I know it's a working class job, but it's just a job.
Yes, but it's the fact that you work. You were looked down on if you worked. And on anything. I think the rich they were idle. You didn't work.
But John Smith's
was a shame.
John Smith's not rich. He works too.
I know.
But maybe your teachers are respectable. They're teaching the future. The boys, there's no women teachers, obviously. So I picked it up because I thought they were maids. I didn't pick up on women suffrage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, when she said suffragettes, I wondered whether it was because they were women. But who would know? Who would know?
Nurse Redfern sees a green light in the sky and they witness a green meteorite going down in a nearby field. As John Smith escorts Joan back to the school, Martha rushes to investigate the field.
Do you think she's a little cash about being hit by a green searchlight?
Yeah. She mentions it. And then, the doctor goes, oh, it's a meteorite. John Smith goes, it's a meteorite. And I suppose she's like...
But she's a smart woman.
I know, but there is this thread because in the second episode, she goes, for once, listen to me. So there is this thread of she says something and then he as a man goes, no, silly woman.
You silly woman.
Yeah. But why wouldn't you bring it up ever again?
Yeah, I would say, no, it was like spotlighting people and I was,
I saw it go over an entire fucking field.
Yeah.
Maybe she doesn't want to be seen as crazy.
And
she's trying to impress John Smith.
True, that's true. She's trying to get the leg over, so you don't want to seem nuts at the beginning, do you?
But how good is lights? Like a lot of this thing is just lights, the green light. I'm like, oh man, they use it so effectively.
They actually do, and the spaceship is really well done.
Yes, yeah,
really well done. I think it's creepier the way it is. The minute that Baines goes through the door, I'm like, get out of there, Baines, you idiot.
In this scene, John Smith is wrong again, completely wrong. And it's wonderful. It's just like, it's just a meteorite. Looks closer than it is. Do-do-do-do, toggle off.
Would have burnt up in the atmosphere. Dum-de-dum-de-dum.
Yeah, just a cinder.
Yeah. Jeremy Baines, another schoolboy, is in the woods looking for beer when he explores the green light and finds a hidden spaceship. He heads inside and becomes invisible himself, just missed by Jenny and Martha.
I know.
If they had have walked 2 meters in front of them, they would have hit the invisible ship.
Now, how did you love his acting? I loved his acting.
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing.
So good.
He is just chewing up the scenery.
Yeah.
He is fabulous.
Yeah.
He's what I remember the most, I like it when he goes, shut up, your sister. He's so good. I love him.
I love it. He's there. He's like, jolly hell, there's a door here.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. The thing I find that doesn't match with the rest of the thing is at the end of this scene, he screams. And it's amazing, right? Because obviously, a spaceship didn't scare him. So what was it that scared him? But when the lady, Martha's friend.
When the maid, you see what it was.
You see what it is. And I'm like, well, that's not that scary. If he wasn't scared by a spaceship, why is he scared by green mist?
I I've got to say, if I saw green mist trying to go up my throat, I might be a little scared, maybe.
Yeah.
Or I might say things like, have you got an MSDS for that? What sort of exposure will I get? It's a safety officer in me.
Put a mask on and it's just like a nebulizer, like,
But showing less is more like if they, I mean, you know, and I'm not directing these things, but like if you had the same process where, you know, he had the green thing and then you focused on her and she screamed.
Yeah.
That would
maybe not have the mist.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, less is more. I love him, mother of mine. He's so good.
Yeah, such very good acting. You can tell why he got the role, that's for sure.
But great directing as well, because every time they focus on him, they use the same lens at the same angle as they do the scarecrows.
Oh, yes.
You know,
really? I didn't
really
notice
accentuates that. The only thing I don't like is the older man. Like the
Mr.
woman,
Clark.
she's great, Mr. Clark. He just doesn't. It doesn't
work, does
it?
he?
Doesn't work with the rest of them. Like, you know, and he's just not creepy, and I'm just like, oh man, like you are outshone in this, this episode.
And I think that's why the older man and the girl don't get many lines. Like there's a lot of times where it's like, well, couldn't the girl have said that? And then it's like she skips and it's like, okay, well, I can see why she didn't get given that line.
I still think the little girl is great.
Me
I
too.
love her.
She's still great,
awesome.
but whenever she says a line, it's like,
Oh, really? I liked the little girl, and maybe it's just because it's a little girl, but I think she's really good at creepy. I think her face.
she's great. She's great at creepy, but when they get her to say a line, it just seems a bit off to me.
And the maid is good. And I felt really sad because I liked her beforehand, but he's great. And Mr. Clark just doesn't work.
Yeah. The maid's acting though, she's great. She got to play this lovable character, and then you got to see her change into that. But Mr. Clark is just the same as the grumpy old man.
Yeah.
You know?
How old do you think the maid is?
Oh, gee. I don't know.
Because when I've always thought when watching this episode that she's like older, like in her 40s.
Oh, no.
I thought she was Martha's age.
Yeah,
I was thinking like late 20s.
I thought she was 20s.
The actor is a couple of years older than Martha.
So 20s?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she was 20s, but, you know, she's made to look.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
A life of working is not good for the complexion, I would say. So,
you know, and it's good writing because, you know, she's Martha's only friend. Yeah. So what do you do back here? You take away everything that Martha needs, right?
Yep.
So this
Martha's on her own now.
This episode is great at raising the stakes. Yeah. Like every single thing it does. And I only found out today it was a book, and so it makes sense. I'm like, right, all these layers already exist. And that's why this is an amazing episode.
they make Jenny look so frumpy. It's like, you know, but you see, I looked up the actress, and I was like, wow, she's stunning.
Yeah, but they make them look very frumpy, and you're right. The stakes just keep getting raised, and you want to slap the doctor, and you want to.
How old do you think the farmer was?
Mr. Clark.
Mr. Clark, the old guy.
50s?
Yeah, 50s.
He was 45 at the time.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So
sorry, Mr. Clark.
Yeah, he's 7 years older than I am right now.
Look at old Mr. Clark.
I gotta grow that beard in. I grow that mustache in 7 years.
Wow, he's 6 years old. Wow, thanks, Adam, for bringing up my mortality here. Wow.
Wow, he's 45.
Well, maybe he was one of those guys who looked like that from the second he turned 20. You know.
Oh gosh, I didn't think of it. Wow.
I know. I looked it up because he's still.
Well, how old is Baines in this?
Early 20s, I think. Yeah, I didn't.
Gosh, he just chews up the scenery.
Yeah, because
he's amazing.
Him and Jenny are only a few years age difference. So.
Well, I'll have to look her up now. It's always good to look them up later and go, oh, wow, they don't look anything like that.
The next day, Martha goes to visit the TARDIS. And I love the music in this scene.
Yes.
It's all like nice and like it's like she's visiting a friend. Well, she is basically, but she goes, "Oh, I can't believe I'm talking to a machine." But yeah, the music throughout the entire episode, is like
really well done.
It's really of the period. There's no like, you know, some episodes where they're like, let's listen to an Earth classic, and then they put on Britney Spears' "Toxic." It's all like music of the period, and it's all like nice and homey and comforting music, even when it's like something evil is happening.
Yeah, it's like happy music from I don't know, Pride and Prejudice, where they're all going off to meet somebody. It really worked. That was the only music for me that I really noticed.
Yeah, I thought the production value of this whole episode is amazing. Slight variation. Martha has the best theme song out of any companion.
Oh, she
How
does.
beautiful is that?
It
that
is
piece?
absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
I love her theme. It is the best. I liked Clara's, but I love Martha's. Love it.
The Doctor decided to become human to wait out the aliens chasing a Time Lord. He leaves a list of 23 instructions for Martha, including making sure he doesn't hurt anyone. But the only instruction concerning if something alien happens is the worst case scenario: open the watch.
Mm-hmm.
Latimer visits John Smith and finds the watch.
Yeah, good on you, Latimer.
He just nicks it.
I
He
know.
just takes it.
I know. He opens it up. It says something. He goes, I'll take that
Well,
home.
that surprised me because I always thought, oh, it doesn't get opened until like when he has to become the Doctor again. And then he opens it and I was like, oh my God, does this happen now? Like it's too
No.
early.
Yeah. So I guess what it is someone who's not the Doctor can open it and get a bit of a flash of it.
Yeah.
But when the Doctor opens it, it must just change him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought it was because he was a psychic. So
could be.
because he gets the flashes, right? I don't know if that would
visions,
happen
yeah.
to anybody else.
And he hears the voices. So yeah, maybe other people would just see the perception filter.
The visions are very scary, aren't they? Of the, all the things the Doctor's been through.
Yeah.
I would be like, oh, well, that's a bit unsettling.
Well, for someone from the time period, yeah, when they don't even have like the internet or something.
Television, the internet,
The television,
internet.
yeah. I was trying to think of what's something weird and wacky and crazy.
They have crazy books.
I didn't even think of the TV, yeah. Oh, TV's been around forever.
Straight to the internet.
They've only just recently got electric lights.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
the last like 20 years.
Wow. Gosh, you can't imagine, can you? No wonder everyone went to bed early.
Yeah.
I got a candle. Yeah, let's go to bed. Okay.
Don't waste the candle because otherwise we can't eat next week. And now we just leave the lights on, when you walk through the house, leave the aircon on. Oh, I'm ducking out for a bit. I might come back and the room will be a bit warm.
Mm-hmm.
I will just always be grateful for a flushing toilet.
Oh.
Yeah, true.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely. We didn't get one until I was 11. Wow. I was so excited. I lived out in the bush.
Right.
So not having to go outside to...
So was it like a compost toilet
an
you had,
outhouse.
or like did you have to scoop water into the thing?
Well, no, we had like an old outhouse that just had a can.
Oh, wow.
And then my dad would have to go and empty the can
Oh, God.
by himself
Ugh.
and bury it and then bring it back. So when we got a flushing toilet, a proper one, it was so exciting.
Now, there's a sign of love. Yeah, that's a man who loves his family.
Yep. Because I got to tell you, I went everywhere with him, but there.
Yeah. Yes.
See, old man, I'm not coming there.
One day I'm going to have to show you how to bury the shit.
But we certainly grew some good veggies in those patches.
Delicious.
Oh, dear. I couldn't do it now, but I suppose.
What, shit out in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Look at Nicchia, all so hoity-toity. She won't shit in the garden anymore.
I'm a real city girl
Oh, forgotten your roots, have ya? You go back to the gums and you're like, sorry, where's the flushing
now.
toilet?
I'm not going to bath in that brown damn water. Oh, dear, oh, dear.
Oh, God. You say with your smoothie maker as you make your smoothies every morning,
Oh, yeah.
you're not having mutton for breakfast.
Oh, I love it when she says that. I'll put some
Mutton
in
and
the
gravy. I think she goes too far. It would have been, because I thought it would have been
Sardines
clever if
and
she
jam.
hadn't gone, oh, how many lumps of salt do you want? Like just a nice little thing. But she's like, mutton and gravy, sardines and blah, and blah, blah. Do you want me to put in butter and shit and your mum? And she's like, ooh, that sounds great. I haven't been twigged at all.
I missed this when Martha tweaks. What is it about that conversation where Martha goes, I'm not talking to my
It's
friend
just
anymore?
that Jenny keeps asking, like,
No, I want to hear about it. I'm really interested. What about the doctor? What about Miss Jonas?
right.
previously she's kind of not been interested. Like, oh, you're so weird, Martha. Anyway, blah, 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 blah.
I thought they just had a previous conversation where she said she hates sardines or something, and maybe I missed it. And so when she's like, oh, sardines. That's
No, she just was saying something ridiculous to see if she picked up. She has The maid has a couple of things. Jenny says a couple of things, and that was enough for Martha to go.
Yeah, she keeps pushing,
So she
basically.
tests her.
Yeah. Whereas previously, Martha's gone, oh, I wish I could tell you. And Jenny's like, oh, you're so weird, Martha. Anyway. Whereas this time she's like, no, tell me. Tell me all about the doctor. Tell me.
Also, even Baines, does no one notice that Baines is completely different now? You know? What are you doing now? Why are you doing that?
Why you keep sniffing? I know I know that they say, oh, you got a cold, stay away from me.
Yeah. Well, it just goes to show how much notice the boys all take of each other.
Yeah.
You'd have to be quite perceptive, like Martha is, to pick up that there was something going on with Jenny, I thought. But
Also,
anyway.
back then, men didn't show emotions.
No, well, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Also, but at one point, Baines, pretty much sniffs the teacher. And it's like, are you all right, Baines? Yes, I'm okay. And it's like,
John Smith, he sniffs it.
He pretty much almost just gets right up and like, oh, yes.
But that could be another thing of going, John Smith fails again,
Well, that's right. He's got absolutely no idea of nuance, does he? I mean, he picks up nothing subtle. Nothing
Well,
subtle.
because Nurse Redfern's there and he's like, oh, anyway, fuck off, kid. I'm gonna go talk to this woman.
I'm going to go snog the nurse.
And he rushes over and he's like, hey, Nurse Redfern, how are you doing? Made me think of my dead husband. Okay, end of conversation.
I know.
Except it's not the end of the conversation. Then they go walking together and she tells him all about it.
That's how I date. I like to tell them all about my exes.
Yeah.
You
You should always start with that, I think. Let me tell you about how I've been abused over the years. Yay!
Yeah, especially if your husband died in a grisly manner, like in the middle of war.
Yes.
Oh.
Anyway, I do like the way that he does the cricket ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the Fifth Doctor tells us that he played for New South Wales in cricket. He loved cricket. the
Now,
Fifth
I'm just putting
Doctor.
it, don't you think the cricket ball was a bit much? Don't you think he could have just hit the can over? No, he's got to throw it. It's got to hit something, ricochet something off. Then that falls down and then this hits that. And then, you're just
It's not clever enough if he only just throws the ball and it knocks it over.
Do you think that was to give us a hint that the Doctor's still in there somewhere?
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
John Smith probably just would have thrown the cricket ball at the woman and knocked her out. Ow, that hurt. Well, at least you weren't hit by a piano. Shut your face.
I wonder if piano falling was a massive thing back in the day. It's represented a lot in media, isn't it?
I know. Although I wonder if anvils falling was a big thing in the day either, because cartoons.
Can I ask what the hell they're doing with that piano? Because there's no open windows where they're moving it into.
Yeah.
And they're lifting it up way too high to just be taking it off a truck or something.
Are they trying to put it on the roof?
They're literally just dangling a piano there. What are they going to do? Lift it up and then, okay, we'll just put it down again. All right, done.
Yeah.
I got it. They're contract killers. And they're here to take out the baby.
They go, it's the British version of Baby Hitler.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if that doesn't work, we've got an anvil further up. Why not that one going
And if
on?
that doesn't work, we've painted a train arch in this wall over here, and hopefully they walk into it with sufficient speed.
And put birdseed. Woo!
But yeah, and you can tell that they dropped a real piano because they had shots from all over. You
Yeah.
can tell they had 6 or 7 cameras on it. They were like,
And safety was in because no one was anywhere near the shot.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder. I mean, that's how they would have moved pianos into, top stories, I suppose. So maybe it was. Maybe, I don't know, maybe pianos were dropping all over the place. No idea.
although that rope looked really frayed. You wouldn't go, this rope will be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Dodgy Brothers removalists. Yeah.
If only you guys had got a piano removal expert on today's show. I feel like I've let the team down.
Oh, no.
I'm a warehouse manager, so
Close,
but
it's close. You don't deal with pianos?
no.
Oh.
Well, then what would you know about the piano removal business?
I only found out a couple of weeks ago that Harvey Norman sells pianos on their website.
what?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. $10,000 pianos if you want to go to Harvey Norman and buy a $10,000 piano.
No, I don't go to Harvey Norman. He's on my not go list.
Exactly, yeah. So, anyway.
Yes. Bleh, to Harvey Norman.
Yes. Oh, where he gets confidence after that, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
He does.
That goes, oh, I just saved a woman's life. Will you go to the dance with me?
Yeah.
That's right. Jump on me. Ho ho.
If you don't go to the dance with me, I'm going to go over and kill that baby myself. Otherwise, it was worthless.
A bit of Lord Flash Eyes.
What happens to the kid with the cricket ball? Does the kid go and get it, or does he go retrieve it? I mean, I know what you're saying, but the kid's never mentioned again.
Can I have my cricket ball back?
I wonder where he is. He's going, Dad, some dickhead stole my cricket ball. And he just happened to be there.
Yeah.
Throwing it up in the air. However, loved it.
Anyway, mentioning about Nurse Redfern and her husband, Oliver, who was killed at the Battle of Spoyne Cop in the Second Boer War. This battle happened in 1900, meaning Joan has been a widow for 13 years at this point.
Oh, no wonder she's
old
randy.
was she when she was
since her
married?
mid-20s, apparently.
So...
Well, she was 35. The actress was about mid-30s in this episode. So,
And they did marry quite young in
that
those
checks out.
days. Like if you were
13 years.
If you were 20 or 21, you were pretty much a spinster.
Yeah.
So, you really had to get in there as quick as you could and trap somebody.
She's a pretty good catch. I'm surprised no one else has,
Yeah.
tried
Well,
it.
maybe she's tried before. We don't know.
I don't know.
It's been 12 years of just trying to hit on people.
Every
Finally.
history teacher, it's like Harry Potter. Just every history teacher is like something bad happens to them at the end of the year, and it's like, a new history teacher is like, I get to crack onto this.
Maybe
one.
she suffers from the same thing I do, which is that you always fall in love with someone who's not attracted to you
Oh, yeah.
or you can't have.
Yeah.
Yeah, unrequited love, nothing works. Nothing works. And then the people who like you don't like.
Yeah.
But you'd like to like them, but you just don't.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Which would you prefer?
Oh, wow. I think I would prefer to have a wild crush on somebody who wasn't interested in me than have somebody be interested in me and me feel guilty that I don't like them back. And I'm such a sucker, I probably just marry them because I feel really bad. Oh, all right. Come on. Which would you prefer?
Well, I'd prefer the same as you, to have a crush on someone. But the only problem with that is then you analyze for me, it's like you have hardly any conversation with them, and you have a two-line conversation where it's like you don't completely shit yourself or something. You're like, well, I think I might have a chance. I think I'm in there, and then they go and have a 20-minute conversation with someone else. You're like, I think I've got a chance. I think they noticed me from the fact that I didn't completely fuck up that one line I said to them.
How very Martha of you, Adam.
I'm actually pretty good at talking to somebody even if I've got a wild crush on them. But really, really good looking, those really look like they stepped out of a magazine and they're quite arrogant. Can't talk to them.
Yeah.
Can't talk to them.
Is that why you struggled talking to me
it
when
is.
I came in?
It is.
Yeah, I
It's
figured.
when
I thought so.
When
yeah.
you came in and you said hello and I said, get fucked. Because that's what I
was
do.
like, this is going to go really well.
I do. I'm really rude to them. I can't help myself.
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm good looking. Go fuck yourself. That's me.
I often think there's if I hate you or I have a crush on you, I treat you pretty much the same way. I completely avoid you because I either don't want to talk to you or I don't want to fuck up talking to you. So
Oh, yeah.
In the gay scene, probably not appropriate, but I'll tell you anyway.
Go for it.
When I used to go out clubbing, I used to call it the Barbarian Tactic, with the barbarian with the Romans. So early on in the night, if you saw someone good looking, you go up, you say, hi, you're really good looking. Have a great night. Then you'd retreat, right? So then you've got them when their defense is down. And then later on in the night, when there was starting to be slim pickings, they'll look over, they'll see you, they'll go, they were attracted to you. He's all right. I'll just go home with him. And it worked. And it worked.
So that's you just sort of, you make a small impression at the beginning
Yeah.
and then wait till the beer goggles are on and you're off.
Yep.
I know myself, the beer goggles make everybody more attractive. Oh dear, I like that. That's a good tactic.
Yeah. A little romance tip from me to you.
Sure.
D4WH.
Thank you.
is that why you said that I was really attractive at the start of this episode?
Yeah.
You're hoping at the end that either Nicchia or I will pick you. Yeah.
I was hoping you'd notice my hand was on your knee.
I noticed.
But yeah.
Oh, I just figured that was
I've never been more offended in my life than to be left out.
Nicchia's is on my other knee, so that's how I like to podcast. Yeah.
Mine keeps moving up.
Yeah, it was the dog that had his nose in my crotch. Okay, right. Yeah. And completing the trifecta, thank you.
Right. Well, listen, you and I will keep drinking beer and see how we go.
There was no beer.
But there's a piano outside, so let's just go.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey.
Hello, my ragtime girl.
As they walk back to school, Smith notices a scarecrow askew and fixes it up. He talks about how he learnt to draw in Gallifrey, which must be an island, even though he and his family are from Nottingham.
Yes, I love the way they mention his parents are Sydney.
Yep, a watchmaker named Sydney, and his mother, as Verity, was a nurse.
So Sydney was the one who commissioned Doctor Who, and Verity was their first producer. So it was a nice little Sydney Newman, who was Canadian.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a nice little
lovely.
nod to the beginning of Doctor Who. Why that scarecrow doesn't attack them, I don't know.
I don't know.
Although I suppose they've got a mother, a father, a brother, and a sister. It's not like they've got 12 other siblings they need to fill the bodies with.
And is that scarecrow able to get out? Because he's tied the arm back up. So it's just like, oh, I'll be there in a second, guys. Can you guys come and help me, please?
I wonder though, like, do all scarecrows look the same? Like, back in the day, it's like they've all been made exactly by the same person.
Yeah.
And how many scarecrows do you need?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the son of mine says he makes them, but I assuming that the scarecrows used to look like that because no one's like, fuck, where are these scarecrows coming from? My scarecrows that I make are way shitter than this version.
Because I got to tell you, the one from the Wizard of Oz doesn't look anything like that. I'm very unhappy. I don't know. You must need a lot of scarecrows. Are there a lot of crows around?
Like that montage at the end of the next episode,
Sure.
maybe it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, I watched ahead. Spoilers. I love that montage where they just keep shooting the same 5 people walking over and over again.
So funny.
So good.
After sketching Nurse Redfern like one of his French girls back at his office,
Woohoo!
John Smith goes.
It's a very Titanic moment. Leonardo. And
John Smith
Kate.
goes in for a kiss, but they are interrupted yet again by Martha.
Good on ya, Martha.
She runs back to the TARDIS, distraught that the Doctor hasn't got a contingency plan if he falls in love with someone who isn't Martha.
Oh.
I mean, it was only 2 months. Normal people don't fall in love so quickly.
Well, maybe they did in those days.
But when you're two beautiful single people in a small village, it's probably bound to happen.
That's right. And if you think about it, there wasn't a lot of travelling in those days.
Yeah.
So if you found something mildly attractive that lived near you, you went for it.
Yeah. And Nurse Redfern's like, what's that, 13 years since my husband? All right, I'll give it another crack.
This one looks good. I'll take him.
In between kisses, John Smith says, I've never... What does he mean?
Never kissed a girl?
Maybe.
Never...
I thought they were going to have sex. And
Never
he's like,
done
I've
the deed?
never had sex before. And I was like, wow, that's really presumptuous from one kiss.
I think never kissed before.
Oh, okay.
They never talk about John Smith or any of his exes, do they?
Yeah, no.
No, they don't.
So it's
Although it's not a chaste kiss. I mean, it's not, tongues hanging out porn kiss either.
But
But,
it's not a first kiss.
no. I thought it was I've never kissed anyone before, and I thought, well, you're pretty damn good at it by the looks of it.
He remembers from when he was the previous couple of doctors.
Oh, I've kissed bros.
Jenny is kidnapped by the scarecrows and inhabited by Mother of Mine and the family of Blood all now have shapes. The biscuits that we get here in Australia, shapes? Yeah, pizza shapes. and-
Yes, I like the Vegemite shapes, actually.
Oh, okay. I have one once and whatever.
What? What?
They're all right.
What would you know?
Oh, God.
You probably like barbecue shapes.
No, I like pizza shapes. Thank you very much.
Oh.
Sorry, I find shapes underwhelming.
Yeah, so do I. Except for the Vegemite ones. I quite like them.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
They're the only ones that I would eat if I had to eat shapes, but it's not like I wake up every day and go, shapes for me.
Was that joke worth it, Adam?
Totally worth it. I mean, I hadn't even written it down. I just came up with it off the fly.
Shape.
Considering most of our listeners are in America, they will not get that joke.
No, they won't.
Martha says there's enough afternoon tea for 2, but there's an entire cake there.
Yeah, well, they're hungry.
I mean, look, I could eat that entire cake, but would Martha, 2 women who like are as thin as that, be like, oh, anyway.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of the time they're just eating gruel, aren't they? I mean, you just enjoy your
Well, she
cake
says
when you get it.
there's enough for 2. I'm like, fuck, there's probably enough for eight or 9 people there.
Ah.
Don't judge them on their eating habits. I mean, you don't know.
well,
they might like a full cake.
I like a woman with a healthy appetite.
So do I. But if I was thinking about myself, I'd be like, fuck, that's the only cake you've got? What are you going to eat?
Well, I'm sorry, but if there's a whole cake and two of us, I could eat half. I love cake.
All right. Sounds good. Martha reaches John Smith and tells him to open the watch, which has gone missing. In fact, John Smith can't even remember it all, even though Joan remembers him having one.
Yeah, well, thank God Joan's there because John Smith is a dick and at least Joan's got a brain.
Yeah.
And this is when she starts to tweak, right? You know, and you're just like,
You did have a watch. Yeah.
Martha tells Smith that he is the doctor and that aliens are after them. Smith is concerned that Martha thinks his stories are true.
Oh, that's so patronising.
Martha tries to snap him out of it by slapping him, but he throws her out and heads to the dance.
Loved that. He deserved that slap.
For many reasons.
For many reasons. Many.
The family of Blood searches Smith's office, hoping to find information on the Time Lord.
I love the way that Jenny, as mother of mine, she just takes one book at a time, just throws it. Throws it. They're really good at this, just sort of being horrible people.
But they find out about the annual dance. Daughter of Mine is already there, and we do indeed see a sad little girl sitting in the corner of an adult dance.
My favorite, like one of my favorite lines, and it's from it, and it like almost like a featured extra, is the guy who's running the evening, and he says with such glee, "Now it's time for a waltz." Look, could you imagine as an actor how hard that line would be to say? Like to come in on Doctor Who, that's your one line, and you know he says it with such glee. I'm like, man, even the one-liners in this thing do well.
He actually does get one other line.
Oh, does he?
He says, "What are you doing here?" And dies.
I want to know how many people they auditioned for that role. They were like, "No, look, it's not quite what we're looking for. Now it's time for a waltz. Can you say it with a bit more panache? You know, like
we want somebody to be ecstatic about this. Think of Baz Luhrmann's Strictly Ballroom. Now it's time for a waltz.
That was too exciting.
It's the 1920s. You're bored. You've got nothing else to do. You've been looking forward to this for a week. Now go, action.
Go for it.
John Smith and Joan Redfern are having a lovely time dancing when Martha turns up and tries to convince the doctor to return by asking him to name the sonic screwdriver. Daughter of Mine hears all of this.
I know. And I think to myself, maybe she could have waited, but she doesn't know. I mean, you're at that point where they're on the prowl. They know it's him. So what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Her best friend's been taken over. Yeah. But maybe she only thinks it's her best. She hasn't really come across the others yet, has she? She only knows at the moment.
Yeah, she doesn't know how many there are.
No, she doesn't. She has no idea about the little girl or Mr. Clark or.
But she knows there's more than one chasing them, so she probably suspects that there are more. The family of Blood and their scarecrows gatecrash the dance and also try to get John Smith to reveal himself.
I love that line when he comes in. He says, what's he say? You didn't give, and he just kills the guy. What's the line?
Can you spare a thing? And he's like,
I didn't even spare you.
Yeah, and then shoots him.
Kills a veteran.
I know.
Just like, wow.
I know. Kills a veteran. Hey, they've just killed a little girl with a red balloon.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That she's very attached to.
Yeah, if they don't care about kids, they're not going to care about veterans. Finally, they offer him a choice between Martha Jones, his companion, or Joan Redfern, his lover. Who will the confused John Smith choose as the credits roll?
Great cliffhanger.
Who do you think he would choose? Like if he had to?
As John Smith?
As John, I think he would have chosen.
Joan.
Joan. Yeah.
As the doctor, Martha.
Well, as the doctor, he wouldn't have chosen either of them. He would have found a way to get both of them out. But.
Yeah, maybe. I always remember years ago I used to love Superman. I was reading a Superman comic and he had to pick between Lana and Lois and who he was going to save. And it said, I'm going to save, and then there was an L ... And then something happened and he didn't have to pick. And I always went, oh, come on. You would have picked Lois. Yeah. No one likes Lana.
Who's Lana?
Lana was his high school sweetheart.
Oh, right.
Lana Lang, Lois Lane and Lana Lang.
Yeah. I think she was a character in Smallville because, she's his high school girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Lois!
And then
Lois!
Because he meets Lois when he is an adult and goes to the Daily Planet.
How good are the stakes at the end of this episode?
It's
fabulous.
just
like I genuinely am sitting here going, how is he going to get out of it? And
Yeah.
I actually had to watch the next one because I was like,
Yeah.
I've forgotten
Yeah.
how he
And
gets out.
it's good because, you know, they could have had the cliffhanger as he's going to open the watch, he's going to become the Doctor again. But we spend most of next episode with him not as the Doctor yet because he's, you know,
the stakes keep raising.
Yeah.
Keep getting raised. I love it. Yeah.
All right, as we always do, we give the score and give the episode a score out of 5. Nicchia, would you like to go first?
Oh, easy peasy. 5 out of 5.
Oh my God, I'm so surprised.
This is one of my favorite New Who episodes. This is one of the best, maybe because it's based on a novel that's really, really good as well. But the acting, everybody in it is fantastic, and I never ever forget Baines's character. He just always stays with me. He's amazing, and I think Freema is fabulous in this. So I love this episode. 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm going to give it 5 as well. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. Watching this, and I like Ryan, I had to watch the second episode straight afterwards just because it's so good. Like, I'm watching it being like, these might be 2 of my favorite episodes of Doctor Who ever. Like, they're so good. I mean, I can't wait to talk about next week with the second episode. But yeah, it's a 5 from me. I love everything about it. The monsters are interesting and creepy. Seeing the Doctor not the Doctor is such an interesting concept. Ryan and I were talking before about I was saying that in the new series, it feels like because they've reduced the amount of episodes, they don't get to experiment as much as they used to.
Yeah.
Whereas this is like them trying something completely different that they wouldn't have done in the classic series. And it just, sometimes it doesn't work. The Slovene are a good example of that. But sometimes it really hits the mark. And I kind of wish, instead of having 50-minute episodes and 10 episodes, they did 45-minute episodes, 11 episodes. And one of those episodes was a Dr. Light episode or something where they could just experiment and try something unique and new and out of the box, basically. Because when it worked back in the first few series like this, it works so well. This and Blink, basically, like it just works so well.
And they're all in Martha's season, I find interesting. But even as you said, the music, everything about it.
Everything works. Yeah.
Works. They didn't fuck up once.
Ryan, score from 1 to 5.
Look, I feel odd coming on for the first time and giving my first ever review of 5 stars, but the production value is so good.
Yeah.
The writing's good. The character journeys, the protagonist. And I find that maybe even in this episode, or these 2 episodes, John Smith or the Doctor is actually the protagonist, which is rare, right? Because normally it's the companion, but in this, it's John Smith who's the one who changes.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah. And that does change the dynamic of the whole show, doesn't it?
And it highlights one of the reasons why the Doctor needs a companion. Like, if he's got to hide, he needs someone to look after him. He needs someone to help him. Like you said, he needs a best friend with him at all times to help him out. You know, when he's in danger, they're in danger. Like, it's not just about seeing the world through their eyes. A good part of it is seeing the world through their eyes, but it's also he needs someone to help him out.
And last week's episode was a tension of task, right? Because they had to complete a task and it was a time-based thing, where this is like a tension of mystery. And I think I enjoy like the tension of mystery of like not knowing what's going on and the characters don't knowing what's going on. And like I was talking to you about Midnight. Again, it's another tension of mystery.
Exactly.
Like it's like
I love Midnight.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's my favorite.
It's a wonderful, wonderful episode. And you are just exhausted at the end of it. It's quite harrowing.
And such a comment on human nature. Sorry, sorry to hijack.
No,
that's true.
But like,
It's interesting because I watched Midnight after I watched these 2 episodes.
Yeah, me too.
And I was watching it and basically it finished and I was like, that can't be the end.
Oh my God.
And I checked and I was like, that's been 40 minutes. It just goes so quickly.
That last line of, does anyone know her name?
Yes.
Was just,
oh my God.
It is.
Anyway, we will be talking about that next season.
However, this one is, I remember the first time I watched it and it is an emotional journey and all I want is the Doctor back. I want the Doctor back. And I guess as the they don't give you the doctor, but you want him back, and it's so frustrating. You just say, get him back.
Yeah.
When I first saw this episode, I remember hating it because I watched the doctor for the doctor.
Yeah.
And so, and then
Yeah.
and having an episode where the doctor wasn't there, I was like, I hate this. What is this? But rewatching it over and over again, you're just like, this is an amazing.
I think it's just amazing.
Yeah.
Now, everybody who comes on the show, we ask them what their Time Lord name would be. Okay, so the Doctor picks the Doctor because it's do no harm, help people. Adam's Time Lord name is
The Nerd.
okay, because he will pick out tiny little things that are unimportant.
Like there's no window for them to put the piano in and
that sort of stuff. Mine, my family gave to me. I'm the commander. I'm not happy with that. I'm always in
ma'am, yes,
charge.
ma'am.
My husband is someone who just asks lots of questions. We call him the Inquisitor.
Yep.
Can be what you think a word that describes who you are or who you aspire to be.
I think I've got one, if it works.
Yeah.
So I'm quite an anxious person. So when I go into a room, I'm constantly surveying where people's energies or moods are at. It's like I need to know if there's any danger. So I kind of like scope out the place. So I would like to think like something like a vibe, like I'm the viber. So, you know, I go off people's vibes.
Okay.
And,
The Viber. Okay.
The Viber.
So we land in the TARDIS and
Yeah.
we're off on an adventure.
Yeah.
And we've got the Nerd and we've got the Commander and we've got the Viber. What does the Viber bring to the adventure and the journey we go on?
Could I bring Grinder? I could try to go and hook up with someone locally.
Yeah.
Get the goss.
Get the goss.
Find out the lay of the land.
I like that.
And then, you know, come back all refreshed. Penis cape intact.
Would you be able to pick up the vibe of the people we meet to see whether they're baddies or goodies?
I think I'm a pretty good. You guys are my friends, so I think I'm a great choice of.
Well, you haven't picked that I'm the
great taste.
baddie. Mwah!
Ooh.
So after the Grinder incident, we'll just wait for that to be finished.
Yeah, right.
You can come back, knock, I'm ready now. You go, thank God for that.
But I could also imagine a scenario where like everything's really awkward and you just pull out a bottle of booze and you're like, looks like everyone needs to loosen up.
Very Captain
Get a
Jack.
bit of a disco ball happening in the TARDIS. You know,
I like
bit
that.
of Kylie.
Okay. Always go for Kylie.
Yeah.
Tell me, who is this minstrel of which you are speaking of? You know, it's like playing Kylie for turn of the century.
Yes.
You come back and the TARDIS is parked outside a gay club and all the gays are kind of coming in. There's
And we're
music
like,
going on. You know.
We're going to be here for a while.
Look, I know I'm playing into stereotypes, but why not? It's the
It's all
Doctor
right.
Who.
We can go to the gay club and dance.
Yeah, please.
We're not going to get kicked out.
We're allies, yeah.
Exactly.
There you go. Fantastic.
You'll
the
have
Viber.
psychic paper, so you'll
Yeah,
flip it over.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So hopefully someone won't get the wrong idea when the doctor goes, quick, make sure you bring the Viber. I never go anywhere without my Viber.
Me either, Doctor.
All right. Thank you very much, Ryan, for joining us.
Thank you
It's been
so
a
much for
pleasure
having
having you.
Yes, Ryan, it definitely has. And I'm pleased that the Viber will be with us. And when the adventure's over, there will be fun to be had. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
We're definitely going to vibe. Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. Until next time, keep searching the skies for the doctor. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
This has been a production of The Nerd Infinite. And then the sound of dragons spitting fire and stuff. What? Why are you looking at me like that?